Harvey Elliott delivered one of his most effective performances for Liverpool against Tottenham Hotspur last weekend. Now the dust has settled on that 4-2 win, let's take a look at how his season and his Liverpool career has gone so far and what he might need to do to take his game to the next level as Liverpool prepare for life after Jurgen Klopp. Elliott has so far made a total of 51 appearances in all competitions this season, but he's been in and out of the starting lineup in the Premier League, mostly coming on as a second half substitute when the game needs a fresh burst of energy. He started picking up the super sub tag earlier this year after a series of cameos in which he effectively changed the game with a positive contribution. Case in point was when Liverpool were drawn in 1-1 against Burnley at Anfield in a drab encounter, not made any easier by a streak of illness running through the Red squad. On came Elliott, and his positivity, tenacity and quality led to assists for Diaz and Darwin Nunez, with Liverpool eventually running out 3-1 winners. So has this been a successful season? Well, it's difficult to say, and on paper, he was actually more effective last season. He started 18 Premier League matches compared to 9 so far this season, and his average Premier League minutes per match has dropped from 51 minutes to 38. So it's no surprise that his numbers per 90 were more impressive last season as he had more time on the pitch. However, his passing accuracy, expected goals, duels won and aerial duels won have all improved. This season was, of course, described as a transitional one back in August before Liverpool decided to go deep in all 4 competitions. And it was the introduction of Dominic Szoboszlai and Alexis McAllister that put obstacles in between Harvey Elliott and the path to first team football. Both of those internationals tend to play on the right side of central midfield, the place that Elliott seemed to do much of his good work from. The other place we'd see him pop up would be as a Mohamed Salah understudy on the right-hand side of a front 3, the position he tended to play in his successful year on loan at Blackburn Rovers. So where is his best position? Well, I think playing wide right doesn't make the best use of his attributes. He's at his best when facing the goal, not waiting for the ball to arrive to him. He needs the ball at his feet to make use of his positive running and forward passing into key areas. He's even more impressive without the ball, and all those sessions watching Jordan Henderson and James Milner must have paid off, as he can be an absolute animal when jumping in and leading the press. This infectiousness in pressing is something which Liverpool have rarely needed all season, and against Spurs he showed glimpses of what his identity as a professional footballer can be in the years to come. Now, if you look at his stats versus his peers in midfield around the top 5 leagues in Europe over the past year, he compares very highly, especially with the more creative elements of the game. Compared to the wingers out there, his level isn't quite as high, apart from in the more industrial elements. So while being tactically and positionally versatile has helped Elliott rack up almost 120 appearances for Liverpool, which is remarkable considering that he's barely 21, it might have had a detriment in terms of his learning the ins and outs of one position and developing on-field relationships with the players around him. But as I said, he's not long turned 21 and in many ways is still serving a very high-profile apprenticeship. So what is next for Elliott? Well, if Arne Slot does indeed replace Jurgen Klopp in the Anfield dugout, it does pose some questions for everyone in the Reds midfield. Slot plays a style of football not a million miles away from Klopp's. He favours an aggressive, high-energy pressing game which Harvey Elliott could excel at. However, whereas for the most part Klopp prefers to play with one holding midfielder, Slot favours a double pivot, 2 deep-lying midfielders who can protect the defence but also press, squeeze space and initiate counter-attacks. Playing as a 6 has never been on Elliott's radar, and in truth, he probably lacks the physicality and mobility to play there. The position that looks most likely for Elliott under Slot is as the number 10, and not really what we think of when we imagine a traditional 10, but more of an aggressive presser combined with an attacking playmaker. Here he would find competition with Dominic Szoboszlai and possibly Alexis McAllister, depending on the business the Reds do in the summer, or if Trent Alexander-Arnold is considered for one of the twin sixes. Even if Elliott is preferred on the wing, there are subtle changes to how the role is played under Slot, often as an inside right or overlapping and exchanging positions with the 10. So I don't see there being any danger of Harvey Elliott moving on in the summer. I think he'll embrace the next chapter in his career and look towards what is hopefully one of several next developmental stages for the youngster. Even though I've touched upon his numbers not being as strong as last season's, we have seen his game develop. For instance, he's now added an impressive cross-field switch to his arsenal, which takes vision to see the pass, confidence to attempt it, and technique to execute it successfully. The ability to switch the ball confidently at pace and at height is vital for breaking down sides who come to sit in a low block. Liverpool need more players like this who are active, not passive. There's still an outside shot that Elliott will get a call up to the senior England side for the European Championships, but I think the best thing for him would be to put his feet up for a few weeks, not play any football, and prepare for what could be a defining season in his Liverpool career.